Good morning to Super Eagles, first of all. Thank you so much for boosting our morale, for not allowing us be put to shame. Algeria was making mouth that they're going to send us to Sambisa Forest.
After
lo and behold, it ended in tears for them. And it ended in laughter for us.
It wasn't just about the win, it was the manner in which they won. They completely dominated the game. I think Algeria had just 3 shots throughout the game. They didn't have a single shot on target. Umar Bali was on his own dirty December Christmas holiday.
Enjoying
himself, you know, no pressure. Even with all their star players. I mean, that was a stellar performance for the Super Eagles.
It was indeed. So we have now made it to the quarterfinals.
To the semis.
To the semifinals, sorry, AFCON.
We will be playing the host, Morocco. Yes. That's a lot of pressure. And they will be playing against the home team. But quite a lot of things happened.
First time joining us here on Breakfast Central. You're welcome to the show. My name is Olive Emodi, and for the next 3 hours, we're going to be looking at stories, the biggest stories around the country. We're typically 3. The third Avenger is on leave, and we're back in a few days.
The third leg of the tripod.
Yes, the third leg of the tripod. And we miss you, Joe.
Our leader.
And we hope that you're making the best of your leave. You're welcome to the show.
And I hope you're not watching the show. You should be resting.
Of course he's watching the show. You should know, Joe. So can you do your introduction, please?
I'm Gbenga and Olive. Welcome to Breakfast Central. You know what we do here. If it's your first time, sit back, relax, and enjoy. We bring you insightful analysis of the biggest stories in the country. We also infuse a little bit of humor. You know, it's morning and everyone is still groggy about the weekend, and to put you in the fine state of mind and also educate you and inform you on the things that are happening in the country. We also talk to special resource persons, subject matter experts. So you're not just watching and getting entertained, you're also learning. So sit back, relax, grab your cup of coffee, and let's do justice to today's show. As usual, we start off with our wake-up conversations, and Olive has given us the direction in which to start. So we'll start with very good news, coming all the way from Morocco, where the current AFCON is happening, and Nigeria has booked a place in the semi-finals to face Morocco on Wednesday. But how did they do that? They went against the Desert Foxes. You know, the Super Eagles versus the Desert Foxes, but the Eagles prevailed in this battle of footballing animals. Yes. And how did they do it? Osimhen and Akko. Fantastic goals.
I must applaud Osimhen.
It could have been more. It could have been more. And Osimhen, you know, selfless.
Where he was saying the coach should come back into the box. He said,
when
he win man of the match.
They will spend the whole day there.
If I win make I just win man of the match first. You know, go beg me, I go do interview tire. I love to go watch Alex Oti's vlogs.
The team spirit is good. They play as a tight unit. I mean, they're the favorites as far as I'm concerned.
And you can see that spirit of unity among the boys. Like they really like each other. They're actual friends. You can tell from the way that they relate with each other. And I like how the old songs, the songs that used to reign in the Kanu time, you know, they play them again, and you see them vibing behind scenes. Anyway, congratulations to our Super Eagles. We look forward to seeing you do what you have done even better when you meet with the host country in Morocco.
The coach is quite restless. You know, he doesn't sit down. He's on the touchline throughout the game, 90 minutes. But I mean, he's quite young and he was a former footballer. So.
But it's going to be a bit of a hard one. These are clips of Moroccans celebrating Nigeria. Now we are going to meet with Morocco. What happens? I have an Ekpoma who lives in Morocco, works in Morocco, and is Nigerian.
The winner of that game is likely to win the Nations Cup. So the other semi-finals will be behind. I mean, it's South Africa, it's West Africa versus North African powerhouse. Yes. Nigeria versus Morocco, and Senegal versus Egypt. Yes. So ECOWAS will prevail at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, ECOWAS will prevail. But let's see the reactions on X. Nigerians have been celebrating, not just Nigerians, Moroccans, different countries around the world. Funny enough, some people have been dragging Ghana, but Ghanaians are saying, why are you dragging us? We're actually celebrating with you. And if you think you have that much mouth, why didn't you come to the World Cup? Exactly. But let's take reactions on X regarding this match and see how Nigerians are feeling about the match. I'm a South African who hates seeing Nigeria win. Wow. But to be honest, they won fair and square. They completely dominated Algeria. I have no idea what Algerians are complaining about because they played a very underwhelming football and deserved to lose. This is one tweet from a South African. Let's quickly move to the next tweet. we have that because we have a lot of stories we need to quickly churn in today. Omobola Odunton says, just because Morocco is hosting the tournament doesn't mean we won't beat them. That's not just a statement. We need to show workings this Wednesday. Love Nigeria. From Omobola. They threatened to send us to Sambisa Forest, but when we decided to show them that Sambisa is our forest, we have been hunting there like our forefathers. They couldn't stand. 1-3 for the Super Forest Eagles. Abi, you dey see Eagle for town. Well, Super Eagles, take note that Morocco team has watched your tactics and gameplay. They will use it against you in semi-final. So you need to come up with another strategy to beat Morocco. That is what Vicky Queens says. And the next tweets, okay, I believe that's all that the tweet I have. You wanted to speak about Morocco's complaints.
About the
Algeria's complaints
and their lack of team spirit and sportsmanship. Because after the game, they surrounded the referee. He had to be escorted by security because they said he made a controversial decision that could have awarded a penalty. But if you check the books, if the ball hits the leg of a player and then goes onto his arm, it's not a penalty. So he did nothing wrong. His performance was stellar. And then when you want to argue that the referee was a bit biased, you do that in a very close game, not a game that they won with 2-goal margin where possession was overwhelmingly in favor of Nigeria. So they've just been sore losers. Unfortunately, they're out as the Desert Foxes. They've gone back to the desert. By the way, what I expect from the Congolese now, that we've revenged for that player that was insulting Patrice Lumumba.
Oh, yes. I saw, did you see, I've forgotten his name, the Super Eagles player that paid homage. Yeah, I really like when he did that. When he got his game, his goal, he dedicated it to him. So what I expect the Congolese to do in the spirit of African brotherliness, and they've been watching how we've been beating everybody, so just say, please, guys, take our World Cup slot. We don't deserve it. Okay, let's move to Edo State before they come and beat us this morning. Angry youths on Saturday took to the streets of Ekpoma in Edo State to protest what they described as rising insecurity, citing frequent cases of robbery and attacks that have left residents and students fearful. The protesters marched through major roads, chanting slogans and carrying placards demanding urgent action from security agencies and the state government to safeguard lives and property. During the protest, the divisional police officer reportedly came out to address the crowd, but drew more anger after stating he was ready to resign and suggesting authorities could replace him with another officer from the north who will not listen to them. Wow. A remark that elicited loud reactions from the protesters. Residents recall a speech by Edo State Governor Senator Monday Okpewolo last year at a political gathering in Irua, Esan Central Local Government area, in which he pledged that Edo people would deliver 2.5 million votes to President Bola Tinubu in the 2027 presidential election, while welcoming PDP decampees into the APC. Now, the pressing question remains, how can the governor expect to secure 2.5 million votes when his citizens are facing kidnappings, attacks, and a growing climate of insecurity?
Very important question.
Let's take a look at that video of the Ekpoma DPO when he was saying what he said that triggered the reaction, and then we'll come back to share ours here.
I have told them no violence. Maybe next week. I have told them some people that will not listen to any. No, sir, we appreciate you. For example, you are here and I stand like a father. Meaning. I have told them no violence. Maybe next week. I have told them some people that will not listen to any. No, sir, we appreciate you.
And that is the clip of the DPO, basically making the statement that triggered the number of statements that were made there. And citizens have a right to demand for protection. Absolutely. Security is a right, it's a primary responsibility of the government. Any government that cannot provide security to its citizens is a government that's failing its citizens. So when the citizens go to the street to protest, which is also their right, which unfortunately many people have started to contest in Nigeria because we see the pushback against protest. But when citizens go out to exercise their right to protest and they demand security, they are well within their rights, not just to protest, but to demand security. It's really unfortunate to see that this is happening. And referring back again to what Senator Monday Okpewolo said in guaranteeing President Bola Tinubu 2.5 million votes, we hear a number of people say this thing, Gbenga, and the question is, How exactly do you plan to guarantee the president 2.5 million votes? Are you not just one person?
And it's not even democratic to make such statements. I know that some would dismiss it as political talk, but I don't know what the Edo governor's obsession is with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's either he's asking his cabinet members to wear the Asiwaju cap, you know, or he's promising one type of vote. There was a billboard that was vandalized, by the way. It had the writing, Asiwaju 2027, Edo is with you. And the youth, I guess it was part of the protest, they tore it up. So you're wondering, there are issues in Edo State. The state of the roads are bad, people are complaining of insecurity, and your obsession is with 2027. We expect better from our leaders.
Just last week, we were playing clips from one of our followers on X, or one of our viewers. He had sent us live footage of what the Auchi Road looked like, parts of Edo State, what the roads, federal roads in Edo State, how deplorable the state of the roads where would make it feel like it's been fixed. So you have more pressing issues to deal with. Insecurity, bad roads, these are problems, because if people get attacked on the roads, how are they meant to escape? It's already death traps for them with the state of insecurity.
To get to this level of protest, it's really hit home and the people can't take it anymore. And they have a right to protest according to the Nigerian constitution. And I hope the authorities really do something about it. Okay, that's the billboard that was vandalized. Asiwaju 2027 is settled.
It is settled in heaven.
By who? Okay. Don't let Mr. Joash Amopiton see that billboard. I mean, and INEC's directive against early campaigning, it's not even what the paper is written on, because politicians and individuals flout it with reckless abandon. Campaigns started in early 2025, and it's not even time, but you see billboards everywhere. Everybody's talking about 2027 elections like it's in a few months' time. It's really, really sad. But let's take a listen. Let's look at what Nigerians are saying on X. Let's get reactions from Nigerians on this issue. Melvin Empire says, what's really happening in Ekpoma? Is it that all the people there are rich? The way kidnappers are demanding 100 million, 200 million in Ekpoma Auchi these days. You think the whole town is full of billionaires. Kidnapping has become too profitable. That's why it's not stopping anytime soon. And if you recall, Olive, there's now a death sentence for kidnapping, but I don't think these kidnappers follow the news or know what's happening. So the government needs to make an example out of many of them. Let's see what the next tweet says. Big Bash says, all the governor is after, all the governor is after, if you know where Tinubu cap, no near him. So make the people of Edo they wear Tinubu's cap. But let me remind him in advance that 3 million votes he promised Tinubu, I hope he has written his resignation letter in advance, because I believe the Edo people are waiting for him. He hasn't even talked about guaranteeing himself a second term in office. He's campaigning for Mr. President. Watcher says, my dear fellow citizens, please save yourselves the stress. Protest yields no results here in Nigeria. I mean, that's according to, that's your opinion, Watcher.
Well, is it just about the person's opinion? How much has protests really yielded? I
mean, it led to the disbandment of NSAS, and it does put
figuratively
certain issues in the front burner, and government does take action about it. But there are other things we need to talk about.
All right, but before then,
yes.
Before then, I want to mention to our virtual audience that we're streaming live on YouTube. New Central Live is the handle. We want to take your comments as well to see what you think about the stories that we're looking at. I'm particularly interested in the last story that we're going to be taking today. But if we can quickly run through this story so that we can accommodate the next two. But please feel free to drop your comments as I'll go to YouTube and pick comments. Now, third story, what critics might call a factory that only prints paychecks. The federal government has budgeted 6.04 billion naira in 2026 for staff salaries at the Ajaokuta Steel Company Limited, a complex that has remained non-operational for decades. Since its inception 15 years ago, the facility has reportedly gulped over 40 billion naira without producing a single ton of steel, underscoring the disconnect between expenditure and output. Of the total 6.69 billion naira allocated this year, nearly 90% goes to personnel costs, with minimal funds set aside for overheads or capital investments, a pattern that has persisted for years. Now, let's put this in perspective. 6.21 billion naira was budgeted for payroll in 2025, up from 4.29 billion naira in 2024, despite zero steel output, highlighting the focus on salaries rather than revival. Established as a flagship industrial project intended to drive economic growth, the plant continues to absorb massive federal funds while still remains unmade, prompting analysts and citizens alike to question how long the nation can sustain salaries for an idle factory. The pressing question now is how the government plans to bridge the gap between payroll and productivity, and whether Ajaokuta Steel will ever move from a symbol of promise to a powerhouse of production. We'll come back to take our reactions on X as well as your reactions on YouTube after this break. Welcome back. And now we're looking at the updates regarding Ajaokuta Steel Company and the 6.04 billion naira that has been allocated to payment of personnel. Bear in mind that Ajaokuta Steel Company was established in 1983, which is about 42 years until now. The question is, what is the productivity? When will we be able to guarantee the productivity of Ajaokuta Steel?
The question is, they are meant to produce steel, but it seems someone is stealing the funds, because we're not seeing any steel.
Or they have decided to now steal the funds, and then Ajaokuta Steel has stood still.
It's still on standstill. Wow. It's really sad. But on a serious note, look, the idea behind Ajaokuta Steel is to be the backbone for Nigeria's industrialization. You know, metal work, car fabrications, you use metal in construction and everything, and that's supposed to be the source. I think the Buhari administration at some point did inject $400 million, if I'm not mistaken, to try to revive it, but I mean, we all know how that went. So what's the logic behind paying huge personnel costs year on year if there are no plans to revitalize or privatize it? We've seen how the Dangote refinery is working. We almost thought, you know, no refinery could work in Nigeria, and it broke the curse. So it would be nice for the federal government to face it squarely, decide if it's a matter of our industrial policy that we need to get it up and running. Otherwise, close it or sell it.
Simple and short. It just reminds us of the conversation we often have about our refineries. You can't keep putting money into something and it's not generating. It's literally a picture fetching water with a basket.
Absolutely.
That's what it is that we're doing, because you're putting money into it, it's not yielding results.
Wastage.
Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And that's taking Nigerians for a fool, because the monies that are being paid to these people who are there could be used for something else. We're here crying about not having enough funds. Every time we're hearing there's not enough funds, but yet money is being put in the wrong place. So again, it's the misplacement of priorities. Maybe the argument would be that there are people whose daily means of survival is from the Ajaokuta Steel. They would redirect them to other government agencies and pay them there or whatever. But let's see what Nigerians are saying about this on X, and then we'll move to our final story for this morning. This announcement raises a painful but unavoidable question. What exactly happened to all the money already spent? Exactly.
Yes.
Between 2016 and 2022, the administration of Muhammadu Buhari allocated about 28.4 billion naira to the Ajaokuta Steel Company Limited, mostly for salaries and overheads, without production. In 2022, Buhari also publicly announced $400 million spent on Ajaokuta's revival. Yet, here we are in 2026, budgeting another 6.04 billion just to pay staff with zero output. So we must ask, clearly and loudly, where did the 28.4 billion naira spent between 2016 and 2022 go to? What exactly was the 400 million naira spent on? Who signed up on these expenditures? Who is in charge? And who will be held responsible? How long will Nigerians continue to pour scarce resources into a moribund infrastructure that delivers nothing? This is not just incompetence, it is institutionalized waste. While hospitals lack equipment, schools are collapsing, roads are death traps, Ajaokuta has become a bottomless pit for public funds, an avenue for looting dressed up as revival. And let's be honest, this criminality has gone on for decades across governments without consequences. That is why it continues. This is not leadership. Leadership is results. Leadership is accountability. Leadership is not stealing. Until Nigerians demand independent forensic audits, named officials held accountable and clear timelines, or outright closure and concession of failed projects, Ajaokuta will remain exactly what it has been for decades, a monument to elite failure and public betrayal. Enough is enough. I need to see the name of the person, please. If you can scroll to the top of this tweet. Thank you very much for Obiora Otu for this very well detailed, thought out tweet that really encapsulates what we think about it. Right? Do we have a few more tweets? Maybe we can take 2 more and then we move on.
Osaru says, while hospitals have no medicine, schools have no roads, the people are hungry, our government is still spending 6 billion naira in 2026 just to pay salaries for workers in a steel company that makes zero steel in 47 years. Ajaokuta is not a company, it's Nigeria's biggest ghost salary list. Shame on everyone who approved this while citizens are suffering. Stop paying ghosts. Either make it work or sell it or shut it down, but stop stealing from the leaving. And
that's all that we can take on that story. Unfortunately, we need to take our final story. If we can move to Abia State, where tensions are rising, as a group of former governors, including Benjamin Oji and another ex-governor Oji, appear to be joining forces to sue Governor Alex Otti for allegedly operating from his private residence in Mvosi country home instead of the government house in Umuahia. The announcement comes just days after the former leaders met last week, a meeting that has fueled speculation that they are coordinating their legal action. The lawsuit follows Governor Otti's controversial bill banning pensions for ex-governors and their deputies, a move that has drawn sharp criticism from past office holders. The former governors insist that their action aims to protect the integrity of public office and ensure state governors follows proper protocols. Now, this is very interesting. I think the first question we should ask is, 1, is there any law that outrightly says that it is illegal for Governor Otti to work from his home? That's 1. 2, can these governors altogether clearly say that Governor Alex Otti is not doing a great job as the governor of Abia State? 3, for a number of them who are pushing back, last year in March 2024, Governor Otti signed into law the bill that stopped the payment of lifetime salary for former governors, and especially those who have dual emoluments. For example, the Senator
Oji,
yes, and even the Speaker of the House, Gospel Akpabio, people who have served as governors, getting lifetime salary of governors, and still receiving money again in their other capacity. Imagine how much we're losing
on such a state. Yes.
Imagine how much we're losing to it.
That's the real issue. It's not about
exactly. They should just
from government
come out with their full chest and say you took food from our mouth.
Immunity, according to the Nigerian Constitution. So it's a serving governor. I wonder how that legal challenge is going to pass. How do you sue someone that has the immunity clause covering him? And it will be sad. I mean, the leaders of that state in the past, I'm sorry to say, Governor Oji hasn't even spent a full term, but what he has done so far seems to have surpassed
the problem is
all the things they
say that no governor can come and independently claim the glory of what is being done in the state, that it's a marathon. One person hands over the torch to another, so it's a continuous effort and they are all collectively responsible for the development of the state. Was it not the same state
that the governor boasted that we give newly pregnant women that just delivered babies 500
naira. Is it
500 naira? Yes, is that ridiculous? The same governor said Mr. Tantalizer's dividend of democracy and ShopRite.
Sarab had taken the Attorney General to court, and Justice Oguntoyinbo was the one who gave the judgment to stop this. Do you know that at the time that she gave the judgment, even when she was retiring about a year later, because she gave the judgment in 2020, I'm not sure now.
Yeah, Justice Remi Oguntoyinbo.
Yes, and when she was retiring, it was still not yet implemented. So kudos to Governor Alex Otti, who stopped that, because what he did also doesn't benefit him. It means that when he leaves government, he's not going to be getting salaries.
Yes.
How many countries do we look back at and see their governors getting salaries for life?
Some of this pension packages.
They have 100% the
so
same salary and emoluments that a sitting governor or a sitting president.
Ridiculous.
Why else will people do the unthinkable?
Is the salary of a permanent secretary.
Yes, which is kind of what obtains in America.
Yes.
Right. Unfortunately, we can't take a lot more, but let's get your reactions on YouTube. We'll take them during the show, but keep them coming. On X, Steve says, this is wrong. Ruling a state from your home is unlawful and unconstitutional. Otti should do better. What would they now say about hope? The rules from Abuja is the sarcasm in this tweet for me. And that's all that we can take. We can see a number of your comments on YouTube. We will take them during the course of the show, but please keep the comments coming.
Which hope is he talking about, though? I don't know.
The hope he's talking about?
If I say Baba.
Are you saying good? Are you Sabi? We're going to break. When we come back, we'll get into the conversations proper. But let's share with you what the headlines and our top stories this morning are.